chance at finding employment and therefore have less chance of finding a partner and becoming a father, that is a problem for the whole of society, not just the young men involved.
Yeah, Roger, what's your take on this report that's come out then? And do you think that there's a chance that a generation of young boys, now maybe young men, have been brought up with this notion that they are in some way inherently toxic and full of privilege, and actually we're now seeing that play out, which is that more of them have screwed their lives up?
No. I think what you've got here is a very good report for the Centre of Social Justice, which does really good and interesting things, though it admits itself that it doesn't yet know the causes of the problem it's identified. What it doesn't justify is your statement that has gender equality left boys behind. What it identifies is a consistent record of girls doing better than boys educationally. But when you look at the statistics for example, whether women are paid more than men, there's still a big gender gap, which varies between 11.3%, women are getting paid less than men, 11.3%.
I'm sick of these boomers, bro. We're talking about the gender pay gap. You mean the one where men voluntarily choose to work more hours, sacrifice their personal time to support their families, and women take time off for maternal leave or just because she wants to do a couple years, 3-4 years to help raise the kid. She wants to be a stay-at-home before she goes back to the workforce. When you factor shit like that in, the pay is the same. If women were really getting paid less, only hire women. I would hire no man, period. If men are asking for more, I would hire 0 men. All women would be working on my company. I'd be underpaying the shit out of them if that were true. So dumb.
To 7%.
Guys, don't forget, Google did a report trying to find out gender pay gap discrepancies in the company and found out they were overpaying the women and underpaying the men.
If you believe another source, if you look at the number of businesses run by women, it's only 15%. The idea that you advantage or deal with this problem with young men by disenfranchising women or holding them back is a quite extraordinary notion. It's what?
See, did you see how he framed the argument? That we were somehow disenfranchising women and holding them back in order to bring men back up. That's the reason men fell down and have gotten so lost, because women were elevated at the expense of men instead of giving them the same standards to reach and elevating them that way. We tore men down to elevate women. Now this guy's making the argument again, bro. These fucking boomers making the same stupid ass argument. But what about the women though? Just because the men are strong, we don't have to tear women down. Fuck, bro. I told you, nobody's coming to save you, boys. Nobody gives a shit about you. The world's full of fucking morons. It's only going to get worse. I made a video the other day. It does not pay to be a jack of all trades anymore. You need to learn specialization unless you're an entrepreneur, and then you'll need to get good at every aspect of your business. But you need something for which you can still have marketable value in this economy, which is essentially specialization. You have to be so good at one thing that it's hard to replace you. Because if you're just average at something, they're cutting huge swaths of departments. Tens of thousands of jobs are getting cut. The economy's going to shit, and you will become redundant unless you stand out in some way. It's so fucked.
To analyze the problem. Another thing to say, hold back women who are still disadvantaged because boys are not doing too well.
So neither of those things is the report saying, and do we believe? So first of all, there is a so-called gender pay gap amongst people over 25. And that is purely the result of women who have children tend to take time out of a career and therefore earn less while they're working, not at all or part-time, and therefore tend to go back in different professions, different grades by choice. Okay? There isn't an objective pay gap because it's illegal to pay a man and a woman different amounts of the same job. But what we're saying is for the first time ever in the emerging generation, so that's 18 to 25, for the first time ever, so this is men and women working full-time before they've had children, men are working less. So that's significant.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. But hold on. Let me answer that point. You're absolutely right.
One at a time, guys. Sorry, let Roger in, Miriam, and I'll come back to you. Sorry, go on, Roger.
You're absolutely right, of course, in your figures about the under 25s, but over 25, of course, there's still a massive gap. And one of the reasons why women are still disadvantaged significantly is because there isn't proper childcare paid for, isn't sufficient childcare, and whatever. The danger of what you're doing is to suggest that women are in some way specially advantaged, and that the gender equality, the push for a greater gender equality, has resulted in boys being pushed back. The problem with boys has gone on for much.
You know what's crazy? You got a woman arguing for the points of men, and you got this old fucking boomer, literally, happily destroying society and welcoming the imbalance because miladies are falling behind above 25 because the gender pay gap disparity, because it's too expensive to look after kids, so they spend all this extra money on childcare. And it's like, that's a whole separate issue of what we're talking about here. More men are exiting the workforce. What the fuck does childcare have to do with that? And the gender pay gap is coming from the fact that companies are overpaying women because of DEI and quotas that need to be reached, or corporate will punish you. So then they overpay women to retain them to make sure they maintain the quotas. It's fucked.
Much longer. The educational problem has gone on for much longer.
Yeah, but Roger, it does seem. Look, Roger, can I just come in here, because it does seem like every single other class and type of human being, other than predominantly your working class white boy, has had some form of leg up recently. And then why do you think suicide is the single biggest killer of men under the age of 40? Roger, I mean, is there not something going badly wrong there, and maybe light attitude towards those people?
Well, I think that...
I'm so curious what he says here. The single biggest killer is self-deletion. If that alone didn't mic drop moment your ass, nothing will. Let's see how he responds.
If you look at that maybe, I don't know this, right? But I'm just suggesting something. It may be that suicide among boys and men have been higher proportionately, or virtually always been higher. I think there's a serious problem there. There's a massive problem with why men are, 95% or more of people in jail are men. There's a real problem with white working class boys. And one of the key problems identified by the report and Center for Social Justice is fatherlessness. The fathers aren't there.